everybody. So today I'm going to show you how to make what I've called my Serenity Sleep Tea. This is an herbal tea that is really good at helping counteract insomnia. It helps you fall asleep, it helps you stay asleep, and there's herbs in here that also help your body adapt to stress, which is one of the leading causes of insomnia and sleep disorders. And if you're anything like me, sleep is something that you never get enough of. So I created this tea that tastes great and also is good for the body, and it's good to help promote relaxation and sleep. The herbs that I'm going to be using in this recipe, I'm going to be using chamomile flowers. Chamomile is a sedative and sleep aid, and it is very commonly known as to be put in teas to help you go to sleep. Chamomile tea is very popular, so we're going to include chamomile. I'm also going to include lavender flowers. Lavender is also useful in treating insomnia and anxiety, and this scent is also has a very calming effect, so we're going to include that in our tea today. I'm also going to include skullcap. Skullcap is an herb that reduces anxiety, nervous tension, reduces stress, and promotes a sense of inner calm, which will be really great to help relax and go to sleep. So we're incorporating that today as well. I'm also going to include lemon balm. Lemon balm is useful for treating nervous disturbances of sleep, and it tastes really good, which will be really useful in this tea because one of the main ingredients and one of the most powerful herbs that you can get to help with sleep is valerian root. And again, valerian root is a very powerful herb that will help you go to sleep, and long term it's good to treat constant or persistent insomnia. It does, however, in my opinion, smell and taste not good, like really bad. So a lot of these herbs, in addition to contributing to the benefits of this tea, help counteract the taste of valerian root. So I think I've come up with a combination that's effective and yet palatable as well. Also, I'm going to be including tulsi or holy basil. This is one of my favorite herbs to use in teas. This herb is what's considered to be an adaptogen, meaning that it helps the body adapt to stress, whether that be environmental stress, physical stress, or emotional stress. So this holy basil or tulsi has been used in India for thousands of years, and it tastes really good. It smells really good, it tastes really good, so it's a very useful herb. We're incorporating that as well. And then finally, we're going to be including stevia leaf. This is a great sugar alternative, particularly at night if you don't want to consume large amounts of sugar, or if you're on you're just trying to curtail how much sugar you intake. Stevia leaf is a good alternative, so we're going to include that today. If you're not able to find these herbs at your local natural food co-op, you can go to Mountain Rose Herbs website at mountainroseherbs.com and order all of these herbs from there. They are all organic, and they have the best prices and the best service that I've ever seen. So they're a really good company to order from. So I'm going to give you this recipe in terms of parts, and you can go to my website to get the exact measurements, but I like to do this in parts because you can use a larger measuring spoon if you want to make larger amounts, which I'm going to do, and then that way you don't have to make it every time. Or if you just want to make 1 cup, then you can use a 1/8 teaspoon as your part. So on my website I will give you it in terms of parts. For 1 serving, 1 part will equal 1/8 of a teaspoon. If you want to make a larger quantity, then I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon here. You can use whatever you want, depending on how large you want to make it. So I'm going to first put in 8 parts of the dried valerian root. And again, this is the primary component of the tea because it is not the best smelling or tasting of herbs, but the best as far as helping promote sleep. So I'm going to use 8 parts. Okay, that's 8 parts of the dried valerian root. I'm also going to use 8 parts of the dried skullcap. Again, this is the second major component of this tea. And skullcap and valerian root do make good partners as far as your tea goes. So we're using 8 parts of the dried skullcap. Okay, then I'm going to use 4 parts of the dried chamomile leaf, and this makes a wonderful tea on its own and only enhances the quality of this tea when added to other herbs. So I'm going to use 4 parts dried chamomile, and I'm going to use 3 parts of the dried lemon balm. Again, this is another really great tasting herb that tastes really well on its own or in addition to other herbs. So again, we're going to use 3 parts of the lemon balm. I'm going to use 2 parts of the dried stevia leaf. Again, this is your herbal sweetener. So, and I find it to be pretty strong. I don't really have a sweet tooth, so I only add 2 parts, but you can adjust this to your own preference. So I'm using 2 parts for this recipe. And 2 parts of the holy basil. Again, this is a really great tasting herb all on its own and has really great adaptogen properties. So we're going to use 2 parts of that. And then I'm going to use 1 part of the dried lavender leaf. Again, you can do this to taste. I find that the lavender leaf is a little bit strong and I don't particularly like it on its own, but it is really nice when it's added to these other herbs and it does smell really good. So I put 1 part in there. And again, so what I did is I made a nice big batch like this. If you want to just make 1 cup, then instead of using a teaspoon or a half a teaspoon as your part, then just use 1/8 of a teaspoon. And mix that up. And then that's ready to go. I can store that in the cabinet and use it as I'm ready. Okay, so I'm ready to make my tea. And if you've made it in a big batch like I have, and you want to just make 1 cup, then you can take 1 tablespoon, put 1 tablespoon of your tea, and I'm going to steep it in my loose leaf tea cup here, which is really nice. It's got a glass interior and then a plastic exterior, so you don't have any plastic by your tea and your boiling water. You don't have to worry about those things leaching into your tea, but the outside of it's cool. So I also got this at Mountain Rose Herbs. You don't have to get fancy. I drink a lot of tea, so I like this and I like to take it with me, but you can just get one of these little diffusers, and this holds about a tablespoon, so that actually works out really perfectly, and put it right in your cup. You can use it as a stirrer as well, but I'm going to use this because that's what I use. And so I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of my dried herb here, and I'm going to just fill it with boiled water. So about 8 ounces of boiled water. And I'm going to put the lid on that and let that steep. So right now you can see that the leaves, most of the leaves are here at the top. And I like to consider my tea ready or about ready when most of these tea that are at the top have floated down to the bottom. So that usually takes about 10 or 15 minutes. The longer you steep it, the stronger it'll be, and I like my tea really strong, so that's probably going to sit longer than 10 or 15 minutes. But as you can see, as the tea is steeping, the leaves are starting to float down to the bottom, and once most of them get down to the bottom, then you can consider it ready to drink. Okay, so here's my tea, and it's ready to drink, and as you can see, the leaves are still floating down to the bottom, but most of them are at the bottom, and it's a nice gold color. So this is ready to go, and this cup is nice because once it's done steeping, I just take the lid off and I can drink it straight out of here. So there you have it, the Serenity Sleep Tea. So night night, sleep tight, and be well.